Dear students, last time we see the construction and maintenance of a fish farm. We know for the construction we had seen the location of fish farm, topography, soil type, water supply, all these things we need. After fulfilling this source of water, various types of ponds is over, then we need the pond maintenance and improvement. So this is the last part of this chapter, that is pond maintenance and improvement. Now here in the pond maintenance, we have to see the controlling of vegetation, cleaning of the pond bottom, liming and the fertilization. Now we see one by one. So all undesirable plants and weeds must be removed regularly by using the various methods of the weed control. Because this vegetation we have to remove from the pond water to remain the pond water clean, neat and clean. After removing this vegetation, we need liming. Liming is the first step of the fertilization of the pond. That is the application of the quick lime, CaO, is generally used. Now, what happened when we add this to water? It raises the pH of water and act as an anti-parasitic substances. And it kills bacteria and other fish parasites which are already present in the water. Now, by adding this, we remove these parasites so that in the future may cause the various diseases to the fish. So, we have to remove this. Now, for 100 to 200 kilogram per hectare of lime is sufficient for the fish pond. Then next is the fertilization. Now here the purpose of fertilization is to increase the productivity by increasing the natural food available. That is called as fertilization. The various inorganic fertilizers can be used. For example, superphosphates are used in many countries to raise the production of the fish. Then inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers used in a fish pond are sodium nitrate. Then ammonium sulfate, ammonium nitrate, ammonium carbonate. Then urea, etc. So of these, the ammonium sulfate is the most widely used and causes the phytoplankton to be bloom and heavy growth of the zooplankton. So here we have to note this point. This phytoplankton and zooplankton act as a food for the fishes. So that's why we need the fertilization of the pond. Then the organic fertilizers carry almost all the nutrients required by the fish. The liquid manure from the stable is very beneficial and stimulates the growth of the zooplankton. So zooplankton is a food of the fish and phytoplankton also. Then filamentous algae. Then liquid manure is released in small quantities only in the deeper parts of the pond and gives high yield of the fish. The use of guano also increases the productivity. Then the farm manure consisting of a cow and pig dung is extensively used in the fish culture. So in this case the cow dung is also a very necessary. It increases the productivity of the zooplankton and the phytoplankton. Then good fertilizers, that is sewage, which is having the nitrogen and phosphorus as its main constituents, is also helpful as a fertilizer. Then other substances used as a manures are soybean meal, cottonseed meal, mustard oil cake, etc. So mustard oil cake alone or in combination with the cow dung is extensively used in India for the pond fertilization. In Bengal green grass along with dry cow dung, stable refuse, poultry manure and oil cake is also used for the manuring fish ponds. Then compost is made by the dumping alternately into a large pit, then manure and vegetable matter. So all these things we need to increase the fish food. This is the only purpose of fertilization of the pond. Then this is the natural one. Now we switch over to the artificial feeding. So here the fish production can be increased by the artificial feeding also. The fish feed should be simple and cheap, that is whole grain, flour, rice bran, oil cake, kitchen waste are generally used as a fish food. The fish meal, meat and blood is also used. The food can be kept in basket or spread on the water. So in this way, this artificial feeding means from external feeding is also included for the feeding of the fish. Then the last point, that is the fishing or harvesting. Now, what happened when we do all these things as construction of the fish pond and maintenance and their fertilization, liming? So, all these things are made to fish to grow fast, and after the growth is complete, we need the fish harvesting or the fishing. Now, this is done by draining the pond or netting. Now, draining the pond means all the water is removed slowly, and the fish are collected. And another method is the netting. So what happened in this netting? The net is pick up on two ends at the one side of the pond, and it is dragged from one end to other end, and because of that all the fish get collected in the net. Then after, by draining, harvesting is complete and predators can be eliminated. Much less labor is required and the pond can be dried, cleaned, repaired, and the soil enriched by fertilization. But all water is lost by draining. So, however, if the ponds are constructed in a row, loss of water can be avoided and ponds are drained by the turns. Means one by one we have to remove the water from the ponds so we can harvest the fish very regularly. So, this is enough for today. Next time we will see another point. Thank you.